All right, 1 minute, guys. We'll get going here. Got a smaller group here today, which would be all right. We'll just give everybody a few minutes to pile in here. We'll bring down the beats. You guys like that shit? Fucking fade out. Fuck, it's like I'm Dr. Dre up in here, man. Fuck, that was slick. All right. Let's give her everybody. Type in the group chat there, guys, what you traded today. Curious if anyone took OPTT and whatever else you guys took. OPTT, yeah. OPTT. Everyone's on that OPTT shit. You guys were part of the pump, hey? OPTT, pumping, yep. We're going to go through something really important today, guys, and it's called cover your losses, okay? Cutting those losses. Cutting them. Because we're going to go into story time today, and it's going to be a very good lesson learned for everybody, okay? I took a small loss on what was I fucking trading today? Jesus Christ. I can't even remember what I was fucking playing. It's in the chat. Yeah, ZYNE. Wasn't paying attention to it because I had my hands full with something else that we'll get into. So I took a loss on it, lost about $500. No big deal. Still up on my daily goal for the week. So I'm going to keep it super chill here for Thursday and Friday. But I'm going to get into what happened here today. First, I'm going to go over how I was approaching the stock. There was numerous times today, guys, I had my finger on the trigger ready to long it, but I didn't long it. You guys have heard me talking about lots. I want to get back into longing, and I was right where the setups were. I just wasn't taking them for whatever fucking reason. No biggie. I'm not mad at myself. I just wasn't taking the longs. Although I was ready to take them at the exact perfect time, right? The pullbacks, moving average pullbacks, consolidation, waiting for the volume to come in, all that stuff. I just wasn't taking them for whatever reason, and that's fine. I didn't have any shares to short this, so I wasn't looking at it from a short standpoint, but as the day went by and the thing was going all crazy, I decided to look at the chart, and I want to show you guys. I'm going to get rid of all this here today. So we got a nice clean chart. I want to show you guys what my approach was while this stock was running about finding out where this thing could top out. Okay, so what do we notice? See, apparently, oh yeah, okay, here we go. So did any of you guys zoom out on the daily on OPTT while it was running to have a look at what it was doing? Like, take a big look out. Now look at this in 2016, guys. All you had to do was come here. 1560s. This is where I was talking about in the chat. I was looking at 1550s, more or less, more so 1566, this candle right here, okay? On this day, today, how much volume did we trade today, guys? We traded how much? 24 million? You guys all see that? 24 million? So we traded 24 million in volume today. All you had to do was go to this day right here. How much volume did we trade on this day? Where is it? I believe it was here. Was it this guy? Nope. No. Actually, we traded more. Yeah, we traded more, actually. I was looking at this one. I was looking at the wrong candle when I was doing this, actually. That's kind of fucking funny. But anyways, This is what I was basing the whole thing off, guys. So if you were looking at this from a short perspective, trying to short it, that's all you had to do. And that's all I recommended a friend of mine to do, is just let the thing run, right? Don't try to touch this thing on the front side of the move. You guys remember what we talk about the front side all the time, right? John, you saw it, ZYE, yep, 2016 candle. You just had to wait for it to get there if you were looking to short. So we'll look at and see what happened when we got it up here. And we'll look at the intraday action. But that's all you had to do, was just wait for this thing. You could have had multiple price points right here. You could have been looking right. See, this is exactly what I do, guys. I look right here. I'd be looking right here. I'd be looking right here. See these big, huge wicks where the stock tops out at? These are the things I'm looking for. Big top and tails, big wicks. I want to see where the stock is going to get tired, right? These are potential areas that we talk about all the time where the stock can get tired from this huge run and look to move to the downside, okay? It was a micro float. The thing's got kind of a mind of its own. But again, you can have these targets laid out as of areas to watch while it's running. Okay, but let's go into the intraday action. We're going to go through the stock first, and then we'll get into story time today. So, good example. So here we are, pre-market guys. What happens? We open up. We were all expecting a big washout, or we're expecting a wash because this thing had been running like absolutely crazy. It washes out, pushes back up. And then what do we have here, guys? More long examples. This is where I was going to long it, but I didn't. But my finger was on the trigger. Right here. What do we have here, guys? What have we been talking about the whole time? Feel free to type it in the chat. You guys see this? Moving average pullback. Here's our 9 EMA. We're on the 1 minute chart. Pushes up. We're extended. It's tired. It's just had a big move up. It needs to rest. Consolidate sideways. We're looking to long the first candle. We wanted to get all the way back here, and then we're looking for the first candle to make the new high right here. What happens when this candle takes off? We see the volume come pouring in. Yep, moving average pullback. Beauty setup, easy. My finger was on the trigger for 5,000 shares right here. Didn't take it. I don't know why. I can't tell you why I didn't, but easy play. 12 bucks up to 1460. 5,000 shares, 10 grand. Just like that, no problem. Is that right? Is my math right? 12 bucks for even more than that. Even if you have 1,000 shares, 2.5 points, whatever the fuck. Even if you have 500 shares. Just learn these long setups, guys. Use it with your VWAP washes. These setups, have you guys been studying the charts and looking for these setups? They happen all the time that I talk about. Moving average pullbacks on the upside and downside, bull flags on the upside, bear flags on the downside. But if it touched the 9 EMA, can go up or down. Am I wrong? Of course it could, but we have so much momentum to the upside, Andreas, that we're after this big, huge push. This thing moved 759 up to 12 bucks. It wants to go further, right? We're consolidating. We're looking. If we miss this huge move, we're looking for it to rest, to pull back here and push back up. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for the volume to come pouring in and another leg up. Another leg up. Because we've done our due diligence and we've noticed that $16 while this thing is running could be a potential target. So we're like, okay, this thing has room to go. Okay, after the big move, you see it more as a consolidation for another push. For sure I do, 100%. Because we've already gone into the daily. We've kept our eye. We've made all these marks, right? We've made all these marks. Well, guess what? We busted through this one. What's next? This one, 1462. Oh, shit, look what happened. Look where it topped out, guys. 1462. Where's 1462 on our daily, guys? We just took this all from the chart history. All we did was mark out areas of interest. Where's 1462? Boom. Right here, guys. High a day on this candle right here. All the way back into 2016. history repeats itself. Okay, you guys all see that? Yeah, yeah. Is the sign the green candle at the 9 EMA? You're talking about to long it for the push. You're basically looking for this to get back to the 9 and looking for the first candle to make the new high. Basically, you could have been tricked out right here, but we're not all the way back here. So you're waiting for this to consolidate sideways. Okay, you made a new high here, came down here. You wanted to get back here, back towards here. We didn't get all the way there, but every candle you're waiting, right? So right here, I'm like, okay, I'm looking for this to push up, but I'm still waiting because we're so far extended off the 9 EMA. I want this thing to get back. I don't care if it's pushing up and down here. I'm waiting till we get back here. The perfect moving average is like flat consolidation. So imagine all these were flat topping. Oh, all these were flat topping all the way back, right? The exact same height right here. So you would be longing it for the break of this price level. So imagine these were all flat tops. You'd be longing it for the break of $12.30. Does that make sense? Okay, so the second big green candle is the entry point which crushed the previous high. Yes, but this one right here, I wouldn't be looking to jump in it, although we pushed up, because we're still far consolidated or far extended off the 9 EMA. I'd be waiting for at least this candle here to see what it actually does. Close nice and tight. This is what I want on a moving average pullback. Not a lot of range on the candle. So when we open here, as soon as we break this body, we're watching for the volume to come in and the tape to speed up, and we're long. Your goal is to get it right here, to long it right here for the break of that body. You understand? And everybody else is looking for these same setups, guys. Hence the volume come pouring in and a huge push up. And then what happens here? Yeah, go ahead. Somebody say something? Okay. And then what happens here, guys? We don't have a moving average pullback, but what is this called right here? This is classic. This is our bull flag pullback, guys. Boom, we push out here. What happens, guys? We're extended off the 9 EMA. So now we have a bull flag here. Pullback, pullback, pullback. Lower high, lower high, lower high, back to the 9. You're looking to long the first candle to make the new high. Right here, guys. Boom, perfect entry. Long it right here for this move. Does that make sense, guys? You guys understand how simple these setups are? We're waiting for it to consolidate. It's either going to consolidate sideways or we're going to...
Can I say something?
Yeah, of course.
Hey, what's up, bro?
Yo.
Yeah, this thing squeezed me today big time, man.
Oh, no.
No. But I got lucky, honestly speaking. I had an average of 1250. I got in on that second bounce, like 947, just for like 200 shares. I was like, you know what? Let me just see. My second
in this consolidation right here?
No. A little bit at the bottom.
Down here.
More down. 947 was my first point.
Okay.
947, all the way at the bottom. Yeah, because I was waiting for it to retest it, but I made money off it because it was just 200 shares. I added, basically I top checked. I added on 1350. I raised it up to 1,000 shares. Yeah. I got an average of 1250. I was like, fuck it, I'll just hold it for the whole day. Let's see what happens.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I made 2 points. I was lucky. I'm not gonna say. That's a tragedy. I'm not gonna say. I do that.
Yeah.
I got lucky.
Yeah. Were you trading live or were you on paper?
Nah, live.
Holy fuck, dude.
No, but, you see, if your account, I'm not gonna say if your account is big, you could you could be saved. Yeah. I don't have the balls to play shares like you. You do like 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. Nah.
Yeah.
I play 1,000 shares. If I could make like 1 point or.
Oh, dude, that's great money, man. Nothing wrong with that.
I mean, if you make $200 a day in a year, you make $50,000. You make $400 a day in a year, you make $100,000. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, of course.
I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead, man.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I just want to make sure that is everybody seeing? Do these setups make sense, guys? The moving average pullbacks and the bull flags right here. moving average, consolidation more or less sideways, bull flags, pullbacks, lower high, lower high, lower high. First candle will make the new high. Boom. That's as clean as it gets right there on that bull flag. I have my finger on the trigger on this one too.
Sean?
Yo.
One question. The bull flag, could you explain it again, exactly what your entry would be here?
Okay, so your entry would be right here, sir. Boom. Yeah. First candle to make the new high, 1360. As soon as it breaks this body. So what we have here, we topped out right here, and now we have 3 candles of pullback back to the 9 EMA. Lower high, lower high, lower high. We get back to the 9 EMA. We're looking to long the first candle to make the new high, which is this one here. So your entry is right when you break the body of this candle.
But isn't the new high, wouldn't that be the third candle up that breaks the previous one, the red one?
This didn't break the high.
No, the next one next to it, on the right.
Right here? No, because the high was right here. The high of the candle was right here. Lower high, lower high.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a lower. This one's a lower high from this one. This one's a lower high from this one. This one's a lower high than this one.
Ah, okay. Then got it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then you're longing for the first candle to make the new high.
Yeah.
But cool. You're not just longing it because it made the new high. You got to also watch for volume. Watch for volume to start pouring in on the tape. Looking for the tape to speed up. You know that we talk about.
Yeah. So about 3 points, right?
Yeah. Does that make sense?
Cool. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. Easy peasy, right? They're nice and clean setups.
Yep.
Sean, let me ask you something, if you don't mind, please.
Yeah, man.
When you trade these kind of setups, right? Do you look for market caps, low float, or those things doesn't matter to you?
I like low floats, low caps, but honestly, guys, if you look, you could go look at Tesla, you could go look at Netflix, you could go look at CAT, you could go look at any stock that trades, Boeing, and you're going to see these setups. Granted, the large caps trade a lot differently than the large caps trade a little bit differently as far as like strategies goes, but the principle and the charts are basically the same. You know what I mean? The setups are the same. The moving average, the extended, the pullbacks, they're universal across the charts. You know what I mean? Any stock that's trading is going to give you these setups, right? It's pretty much universal. I haven't seen a chart ever that trades some volume that you don't end up seeing in the setups. Some of the setups are a lot cleaner than the other ones. Who's got the phone in their pocket there? I'm hearing some noise.
Okay, Sean. One more question, right?
Yep.
I don't mean to be a pest with too many questions.
No, man. I'm here to.
Let's say like after 2 or 3 days, right?
Yeah.
Let's say after 2 or 3 days, if this thing have another spike.
Yeah.
Would you like to short in the most consolidation area, or how would you look at it?
I always try to short either on a gap fill for a reversal or at major resistance. So, the
most consolidation. Basically.
Most consolidation or hardcore pivot points in the stock. You know what I mean? If you go back into the daily and you look at this, like what do we see here, guys, at 1566? This is what I'm trying to show you. I'm all the way back at 2013. Let me get rid of all these. What do we see? I'm going to draw this one line here, right at 1550. Look at this, guys. A pivot point in the stock. 1559 up to $16 was a major pivot point in this stock. It's above, boom, shoots up, comes back down, consolidates at that level, gets back down, tries to push back. It hasn't been back over this, guys, since 2014. So if you just zoomed out on the stock, you would know that this 1550s to 16s, this is a major pivot point in the stock. So you're going to have major resistance. Does that make sense?
Yeah, got you.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, my approach is always the same with the stock. Like if I'm looking to short, I'm looking for a gap fill, I'm looking for absolute major resistance or a trend. You know what I mean? If I can't find a trend, major resistance, I'm looking on the intraday. If the stock is known for closing at the lows and closing weak, I'm looking at the chart for guidance of where it could top out, and then referring to my intraday. If I can get it at the top and I know it's closing at the lows, you know, I can hold that thing all day knowing that it's going to close at the lows. So it's just trends, Pras. It's just trends repeating itself all the time.
Got you. But here's my question, right?
Yeah.
You see, if you switch to intraday,
Yeah.
It didn't bounce today. It just tanked, basically tanked. Can you switch to intraday?
Yeah, there it is.
Like
right
around
there.
like you see that big panic from I believe so like $10 to $8, some place right there.
Over here.
Big panic.
Right here. No.
Yeah, like around like 9:35, 9:40.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Here in the morning when it curled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why didn't you take a shot over there? Because you always say in your videos, right? Like you always wait for the second test, and if the second test sometimes fails or
look at this. Look how much volume. Look how much volume was pouring into the stock. 300,000 shares. 300,000. You know, I knew that this thing was going to curl and retest. And if I'm looking right here as the highs, there's no reason for me to have a short bias on this thing when this thing is pushing right through it at 400,000 shares. This thing had no signs of slowing down. There was so much volume coming in here.
Mm-hmm.
So I just, you know, I would be just right out of the way. Once it starts pushing through here and blasting, I'm looking at the daily. If I haven't already identified this 1559 area, you know, that's what I'm looking for. I'm just letting it run, knowing that this thing's going to run for it. It was a micro float too, right? So I'm expecting this thing to just like go, you know? So I just get out of the way, let it do its thing, and see if I can find out where this thing could possibly top out if I'm looking to short it. And once you zoomed out on the daily, you know, that makes complete sense, right, guys? You see that when you go so far back? Now you can see the overall trend of this stock. Look at this, all the way back to 2011. Comes back down, lots of momentum coming down here. What did it do? It hit that 1560s area, consolidated, and bounced right back up, came back down, consolidated, got back below it finally, and hasn't been above it since. So it's like you just got to pull back on a stock that's running and see if you can identify. This is what I call the pivot point. Does that make sense, guys? They're just insane areas of, you know, this could be on the low too, right? You could be coming down on it to an area of ridiculous support that you could catch a bounce off it. Instead of hitting a ceiling, you're hitting the support and looking to catch the bounce. Andrea says, so if you would be short and it squeezes you, would you not wait to cover and wait for the better entry? I would try to cover right away. I'm a firm believer in paper cuts rather than a shotgun. You know, I'd rather take a small paper cut and get out as quick as I can, take the small L, and then look to re-enter the trade at a better time.
Yeah, actually, that's a very good approach because on my 200 shares, once upon a time, unrealized gains, I was down like $1,500 just on 200 shares.
Yeah, well, that's gonna segue us into our story here. But I want to. Does that make sense to you guys? So, also now, guys, when I was talking, when this thing was starting to come down here, did you guys notice the funny shit? I was typing it in the chat. You know, so we topped out here, right? That was the area we were watching. What, 1560s right here. Okay, so we came up, and what happened, guys? Double top, beautiful double top right here. So you could have gotten short and covered anywhere into these washes. You could have held here, covered down to this major support level right here. Could have held and waited for the retest, but on this retest, right? Remember how I always tell you guys I always like for it to retest, curl around and retest? Well, it curled around and retested. It took a fucking long time, but we retested, big rejection. You know, that's firming up your belief to go short. So as we were coming down here, you remember, guys, when I talk about this all the time, man. Intraday gaps. I tell you guys, they tend to fill. This thing was running. This thing was gapping. Okay, there was another one here. There's one at 725 down here, something right here. Okay, see that right here? Gapped up, didn't fill. Gapped up, didn't fill. There was, I think, one more somewhere along here. Just give me a sec here, guys. I know it filled. Okay, we'll just use these two as an example. So now, if we're short and we were able to top tick this bitch, our target, remember, our target would be the gap fill, the intraday gap fill, because these things usually fill on the same day. It's a target. And what happened? Boom, big crash, consolidation sideways. And what happened? It dumped here. And where did it get halted, guys? It got halted as soon as it filled the gap. It got halted on the penny. Did you guys all notice that? And the when you were watching it, I was calling it out. Do you count the wicks for gap fills? No, John. It's the closing price of the candle, whether it's red or green. So your green candle closes at the top, your red candle closes at the bottom. Okay, right here, gap. This is the gap area right here. Okay, that's the closing price. Right here, we have the gap right here. That's the closing price on the bottom. Does that make sense? It's always the closing price of the candle. Closing price. It gapped up. So the gap officially closes when we get to that price. This gap officially closes when we get to 1007. So the gap is the space between the close of the two of the following candles. Yes. So we have a gap here to fill in between these, well, basically these two, the open and the close of this candle, but you're always going on the close of the candle when it gapped up. See, it closed here, it gapped up here. It closed here, it gapped up here. So always take the close, whether it's red or green. Always take the closing price. So we started to tank, right? Once these things go, they come down just as fast as they went up. What does it do? We get halted right here, guys, right at the gap close level. It's not a coincidence that this shit is happening, right? I always tell you guys, they're magnet areas, okay? Now we got another gap to fill at what price? Oh, look at this, guys. Look what happened in the after hours. What happened? The gap filled. 724. You guys see that? The gap filled. It's not a coincidence that this happens. You see intraday gaps, especially on halt resumes, and you're playing them for a short. You always use your price targets as the gap fill, the intraday gap fill, because they usually fill the same day. And you know, what I'm telling you is the truth. It filled here and it filled here after hours, but it filled. And then we have another gap way down here. You see this right here? You guys see this? Boom. Right at $6. That was the one I was talking about in the chat room today. I said there's a gap to fill at $6. So we'll be watching that tomorrow. It might even fill tonight, man. It's still going down. I think it's got like 40 minutes to go. So that was OPTT. Does that make sense to everybody? You can type yes in the chat there, or talk on the mic. It's all good. I just want to make sure I answer questions. This was a low float. This was a runner. So you could have, you know, you had long plays here, you had long plays here, you had long plays going red to green, and you had short plays. Once we were able to identify that 1560, you know, then we kind of knew what we were doing. I had a good idea. Stock's a low float, micro float. You know, all we can do is interpret the price action, but everything came true, right? This came up to retest that 1560s, didn't even close above it like the double top did, closed beneath it, pushed over, got rejected, boom, go short, or go short here on the retest. Easy peasy. Will this be uploaded to your YouTube channel? Of course, yes, sir. Yep, yes, sir, ma'am. Sorry, I'm not assuming. I am working missing a little bit. Yep, ma'am. It's all good. It's all good. Can you show an example when the gap at the $6 area filled? It hasn't filled yet, Andreas. It had the gap. The $6 gap hasn't filled yet. It's still open. Guys.
John.
Yo.
Could you just show an example what you consider as a gap fill? Because sure. I get it that the gap fill is basically the close of the two candles, but I would like, is it just the space between the candles, or is it just the fill?
You betcha. So so $10 filled right here. So we have a gap to fill in just this little area right here. We have a gap, right? We have a gap between the open here and there. I mean, I don't like counting the wicks, right? I like using the bodies. So we have a gap from here to here to fill in the chart. So we go over here, and it filled right here.
Right.
So on the right candle right here, it came down and filled that little space.
So the fill is basically only the empty spot missing, correct?
You betcha, sir. You betcha.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
As soon as that area fills, gap is filled. And that's how we get the reaction. And you guys see this time and time again, these fucking gaps fill, man. And you always get a reaction. Even if it's a reversal or a gap close and go, you're always going to get a reaction. Consolidation, pullbacks. It's every single time these gaps close. As long as it's got volume.
So even when the stock is like, as in this case, at $15, and you have like gaps at the $10 range, you would still have it on the radar for a gap fill in that case, right?
That would be my price target for if I was going short on this thing up in 1550s. My overall price target, I would be aiming to take profit at that $10 gap fill. If it still looked hella bearish by the time it filled, we got halted when we closed this gap. So I'd be like, I'm holding this thing. There's no reason for me to get out of it. So then my next price target would be that $7 there. Where was it? This guy right here, 724. We didn't get there. We didn't get there. So, we're coming up closing time right here. I'd be getting out obviously of my position. We're not going to get right to 724, but we got pretty damn close, and then we closed it after hours.
So possible points to close the position would be the major resistance here at the 12-18 range, for example, or the gap fills, correct?
Yeah, you betcha. If you got short up here and you top ticked it, just once you're in it, guys, and if you're not basing this trade off your daily candles or something that you're looking for history repeat, always refer to your intraday. Okay, your first price, your first support level, basically it's kind of like right here. All right, you guys see that right here? And we also have another support level right here. What happens at this support level crash, guys? It's going to go back down. It found some support right here, but my overall price target, the only support I truly see, we have some consolidation right here. We have a little tiny bit right here on the left and right side. So there wasn't a whole lot of consolidation here because it was such a huge move up, right? That's why, we look for these huge price channels when we're shorting for maximum profit. I didn't play this. I didn't have shorts. I couldn't even get shorts in the pre-market. I was looking to secure at least 2,500 shares, 3,000 shares in the pre-market, and I couldn't get them. My buddy on Trade Zero got them, and that's what's going to segue into our story. So does that make sense? Any more questions on it, guys? Gaps? Any more questions about the play? Anything you guys are confused about? What's that? Perfect. All good. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So guys, my day, like I told you, I took a little L on ZYNE, but I don't care about that. It's just fucking minor. The big lesson today is the majority of my day I spent helping out a friend. And my friend didn't tell. I was on chat with him all day today on the mic from like 10 o'clock in the morning all the way up until the close. So we're going to go through cutting your losses quickly and why it's so important. So this guy's a good guy. He's new to trading too. We've been trading pretty much the exact same amount of time. And he made the mistake of trying to attack this stock on the front side of the move. Remember how we always talk about front side, back side, right? Volume front side, back side, low volume. He was trying to attack this as a short on the front side of the move, not paying attention, even though we were all talking about it being a low float. This thing could absolutely squeeze, get out of the way. 9:30 in the morning, this thing isn't done yet. But he took a position, I believe right here. He took a position right here on this candle right here. So he was short around in the 980s. Okay. Got a nice drop. Should have covered right here. Being a low float, right? If you're going to attack this on the front side, you scalp it. You get in, you get out. Okay. He didn't cover. Okay. It came back up here to his entry. He didn't cover. Okay. It continued to squeeze up to here. He averaged in right here another, I think it was another 500 shares up here at the top of this move. So he was totally into this for, I believe, 1,500 shares or 2,000 shares. One of the two, I think it was 1,500 shares full position. He's just like, okay, consolidating. He's not paying attention. Consolidation, heavy volume still pouring into this thing, saying, okay. And what happened? It squeezed up. He's still holding from down here. You know, his average is like somewhere down here. I think it was like $10 or something like that. Okay. He's still holding. And it's squeezing. And he gets hold of me around here saying he's in trouble. And by the time I figured out what was going on, we were up here. He was about I think $6,500 or $7,000 down with a small account. You know, almost 2/3 of his account negative unrealized. So he was about to blow his account up. Tripping balls. So I was like, oh my fucking God. So panic sets in. You know, I close out my position on ZYNE. I don't care. You know, I got to help this guy navigate this shit. So he's holding up here. He's down almost 7K. He's tripping. So this is where I went into the thing and I said, I think you're okay in this area, I believe. And it came down, and obviously he's hoping for it to get down here so he can get out. Well, what happens? It keeps fucking with him, right? VWAP keeps fucking with him. Comes down here, bounces. Comes down here, bounces. Comes down here, pushes all the way back up to the highs. You know, he's asking me what should he do, right? And thankfully this area held, right? This is the area we were watching, so it held. That was a 1560s right here, so it held, and it comes back down. And so now we're just like, okay, this area rate is it 13? Where were we? It was right here. Was it here? 1140s. Yes, it's right here. So once we broke here, I said, okay, this looks like the start to the backside of the move. And he goes, well, where do I get out? Where do I get out? Right? So I said, if this area cracks right here and we push down to this next support level here, this 1180s area, I want you just to cover and just get out, take the loss. It's not $7,000. It's going to be more like $2,500, and just get out of the position, save your account. So we busted through, we came out, we retested, and he got out here. Okay, granted, I'm watching it, come down, we holding resistance, right? Support turns into resistance. If it can't break out, it's going to break down. It continued to break down. He was very disappointed that he didn't hold because it was tanking at the end of the move, but it's not the smart thing to do. You already just almost had a fucking heart attack for like the last 3 hours, almost blowing your account. We got him down to way less than half of what he was down. Just get out. Because being a micro float, this thing can consolidate right here. And just like here, this could have been a squeeze up all the way back to here, fucking $20. You never know. But this could have been a squeeze up to VWAP. And he's like, fuck. So I told him to cover right here. As soon as we cracked here, I said, just get out and breathe. And then, of course, we continue to come down. So he was a little bit disappointed coming down. I think he scalped a couple of the moves coming down. So he was actually able to lessen, because he already had the shares. So he was able to, I think, even cut down those losses a little bit more. But like, when you go from $7,000 unrealized in the negative to getting out at, 20, I think negative 2,500 and I think he was able to scalp back another 600 even off that. That's just too much, man. You never want to put yourself through that shit. You got to cut your losses, guys. You got to always have, when you get into a fucking trade, you got to know I'm risking this much. And don't let it rise saying it has to come down. It's got to come down. It's got to come down. Because if you have that attitude, you're just going to hold. And it was just a classic example of emotions getting involved in a trade. And you're looking at that P&L getting bigger and bigger. The volume's pouring in and you're just getting squeezed, right? I just wanted to tell you guys that story, and that was my day. You know what I mean? And he's a good guy. He just got caught up in emotions, right? We all go through it. So you have to you gotta cut your losses, man. Take a paper cut rather than a shotgun blast, all right? You got to live to trade another day. I would way rather take a $500 hit, a $300 hit, a $1,000 hit than take a $7,000 hit, right? You know, and I've done it. I've had losses that have gotten me, you know, where I've been, you know, that have gotten against me, and I've been at almost break even, and I didn't fucking take it, and it just went and bounced on me, only to be back down like $800. It's not good for your health. So paper cuts, man. Just keep the losses as small as you can, and just look. You can always get back in the trade, guys. Cut your losses. Let it run or let it fall, whatever setup you're looking for, and just look to re-enter the trade, right? You know, just save your bullets and just live to trade another day, and just keep those losses as small as you can. And then when you do nail that fucking killer entry, aim to maximize the trade. So crazy story, man. It was a wild day. Like at the end of the day at closing, like my fucking heart was pounding too. Like I was sweaty. It's a lot of emotions, man. And, you know, I was like, man, why didn't you tell me when you were getting ready to enter this trade? I would have told you not to touch it, right? It's on the front side of the move, right? I could have saved you this entire stress case. So, you know, look at before you enter, man, especially these micro floats. Because at 9:30 in the morning, I can guarantee you this thing wasn't done pushing, man. It had so much more to give, and there's still so much volume coming in here. There was no reason to get on the short train on this. Or at least if you are on the front side, quick drops. Take your profit quickly, right? Just like Mike does. Takes his profit super quickly. That's how you have to treat these front sides if you're shorting. And then if you get in at the top, then you can aim to maximize. But at this point here, you have no idea what the stock's going to do. You know, where's it going? Random question with shorts. When we locate, say, 1,000 shares and you get in and out for 1,000, do you then no, you don't. My broker, you don't. Trade Zero, you don't. I can recycle my shares all day long. So if I got 2,500 shares in the pre-market, I can trade that 2,500 shares all day long. I can recycle them all day long. I could take 10 trades of that 2,500 shares. Every broker's different, but I think that's kind of standard. I don't know. Maybe someone could chime in who's not with Centerpoint or Trade Zero. Interactive broker sucks. You have to have the share. You basically have to take the play right now. You can't reserve your shares. It's just fucking horseshit. So I'm with Trade Zero. Yep, there you go. Question answered. You can recycle them shits. You had shorts today, John. Trade Zero had shorts. Could have fucking shorted the shit out of this. God damn. Don't get me started. Well, why don't you tell us what you did? So let's go. This is what these meetings are all about. Where we fucked up, what we did good, what we did bad, where we can improve. Were you just hesitating on it or what? Feel free to jump on the mic if you want. Yeah, get on the mic. I got you unmuted. We can all learn.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. So I did take a trade on OPTT.
Yeah.
And basically I had a long entry sort of right at the open, potentially I was looking at. But I had an issue with Trade Zero where I noticed at the open my charts were updated on, because I used TC2000.
Yeah.
But my Trade Zero platform was lagging. So I missed the open, which was like a flat top breakout basically. So I missed that. I then marked out 942 using the daily candle at the open. Let me just maximize my.
Okay, I know where you were looking at. You're looking at right there. I just found it. Yeah. So that's the target you were looking at.
So, and then I went, if you go into the 1 minute chart.
Yeah.
And if you look, let me just maximize my end. So
that was a nice entry for a long too.
Yeah. So no, actually, I was. If you go back to 9:30 area.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Let me just see this one here.
Okay.
So. Yeah. Nice. So what happened? You see here. So you see they got that pre-market, that little flat top there. Sort of pull back to the 9 EMA.
Yeah.
I was looking to long there, but I had a broker issue, so it really annoyed me.
Yeah.
I was like, oh. So I allocated just a few shares pre-market, and I had that 942 set up. And if you see how it broke above 942, then it pulled back, and we had a couple of tests of it.
Yeah.
I hesitated on that. Yeah, on the that 936, I think it is.
Over here.
Yeah, to short now. Now to short.
Yeah.
Because we broke beneath the line and we went for a retest.
Yeah.
I hesitated there, and then you see how it dropped almost like $1, and that really annoyed me. So I missed 2 entries, and I ended up taking a really stupid trade right down here around the 850s, right at the bottom of that cup.
Right down here.
Yeah, because it popped down, it sort of retested the 850 3 times almost. I got in at 850, and then it started to curl back up, and I just got out straight away.
Yeah, so you got right. You were right at this consolidation area here, right at the top of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, your entry right here was a great idea as long as you covered into the wash, because we are on the front side of the move. I mean, you may not see it now, but on these micro floats, you got to expect a washout at the start, and then a curl, and then another push up, right? There's going to be volume to come into this thing, right? It's not done yet. So your entry here was sound. That would have been great as long as you covered. I mean, that was a great short, 920.
And then my second, I didn't enter, but I'm just not pulling the trigger at the moment. So I located the daily chart from 2016 where it popped up at 1560.
Yep.
And you see that retest around, was it 12:30-ish?
Yep, right here,
I saw that perfectly in real time. Didn't pull the trigger. And then it was just, that would have been a home run.
Yes, sir. Yeah. You got to trust it. You got to trust the setup, right? So
I think it's, because I've only really been learning these since you've been doing the video. So I've learned so much. So I'm seeing it all the time.
Yeah.
Hopefully within the next week or so, I'll start having the confidence in real time to pull the trigger.
You saw it though. I mean, you saw the 1560s, right? And here we go. Double top right here. Double top right here. Another
like
entry.
6 times on the first go.
Yeah, exactly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 attempts right here to break out. Can't break out. Another attempt here to break out. Got fucking big time stuff. Huge pullback. You know what I mean? Massive pullback. Comes back up. Can't hear. Let me zoom in on this so everyone can see it. So this is the retest right here. Big move back up here, guys. Look at this final candle that comes in here. 228,000 shares. Can't break through. Gets fucking stuffed. Huge pullback down to 1430s. Over a point from our high, from our resistance area. Lower high, boom, short right there. And when it curled back, if you were scared to take it, you could have taken it again right here because it came up pretty much to the exact same amount, and then you would have been gold. I know it's, you're seeing the money entries, right? You just got to trust yourself. Are you trading live, or are you trading on a papered account, or what are you doing?
Yeah, live, small accounts. I've done taking small shares.
Size. Yeah, that's good.
The issue I think I had with this, when I didn't pull the trigger, is I think it's the spread at the time was about 40 cents.
Yeah.
So I think that was one of my reasons why. If the spread was tighter, I would have been more confident to get in, but it was about 40 cents at that particular time.
Yeah. Well, good for you. I mean, that's good for you to notice that, and those are all things you should be noticing.
I'm happy overall. Like you said, I got FOMO because them first 2 entries.
Yeah.
And then I tried to make a trade out of nothing, but I cut it very quickly, and I lost like $20 and nothing.
Well, that's all right. I mean, you caught it quickly. You caught your losses quickly, and that's the name of the game. You live to trade another day, right?
Exactly.
Good job. Good job. You did everything right, man. Your entry down here was great. You just would have had to cover in there if you got filled. You saw the high a day. You saw the test here, the rejects. You saw it on the daily candle. You saw it here. The spread was too big and you weren't comfortable with it, and there's fucking nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and it's $15 at the time. So my account just if this was like $6 or so, I'd
exactly. But then it's tanking, and you're like, fucking shit.
Yeah. Well,
that's how it goes.
I saw it the first time, but when we got the first retest where it hit it, and then when it curled all the way back up, I was like, yeah. And I just still didn't. Like you say, micro flow. It's just wild.
Yeah, I knew it was done when we got this big drop right here. I said, okay, this is the backside. Here we go. And then it consolidated. Tried to push up, got stuff, and then a huge fucking drop down.
I actually went away and I come back towards the close, like power hour, and I see it's broke 10. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. The VWAP was a real strong. The VWAP was following this thing all day. It was really tough to get through. And that's what I told him. I said, man, if we break VWAP, you're going to look to take profits. And as soon as it came up here, we had this line drawn for the lows of these guys right here. And that's where I said to my buddy, I said, you might want to take profit here, or not profit, but cut your loss here.
Yeah.
So
I do have a question actually about ZYNE.
Yeah.
I saw you entered the trade, but I was trying to look up. I couldn't see a reason for actually entering it myself. I didn't know if you want to talk about why.
I will. Let me show you right here.
I'll just unmute myself quickly because I got.
Yeah, it's all good. Okay, so ZYNE, when this thing popped up on the momentum scanner here, let me see if I can zoom out here. Okay, where's our high day? Right. Hang on here. We were looking right at the 8s in this area right here. Okay, so what I saw was ZYNE. You see what I see here, guys? Pivot. Comes back up, down, test, boom. Comes back down, test, boom. Comes back down, test, boom. Comes back down, gaps down, gets here, finally breaks below. This $8 area is always in play. So this was the main reason, is I saw a pivot point in the stock, and it was approaching this $8 area to test it, and I was gauging it. Awesome. Yeah, there you go. It's easy, right? So zoom out on your dailies, guys. You see the bigger picture, right? See the bigger picture. If you can go back as far as you can and look where the stock hits and bounces, and you'll see these areas. I call them pivot points. Pivots in the stock where it comes to, say, as it's coming down, it hits it and bounces off for like a year, and then comes back down to retest it, bounces off, or breaks through, it comes back up to test it like 6 months later, gets slammed down again. So I just zoomed out on the chart. I do this all the time. If I don't see any gaps to fill, I zoom out on the chart. Do I see a trend here? Do I see a major pivot point? So it was this area right here, guys. See that? Does it all make sense? Booyah. See that? See how many times that thing was in play? Was your 650 potential profit taking area on ZYNE? ZYNE, what I wanted was, this area was being a bitch right here, the 750s. I wanted it to break 750s. We couldn't. We came down, and I was in it here, and I didn't take profit here. And this is right when I was in the middle of helping my friend, and I didn't take profit. I don't know why I didn't. I was up $600 on the trade. My overall target was 750s to break and come down to this 715 area, down to this support area right here, and get it right here. But it kept coming down there. I had so much time to take profit, and I didn't. It was just sitting here. And then what happens if it doesn't break down, guys? What does it do? It breaks out, right? Same as going short. If it can't break out, it's going to break down. Well, fuck, it consolidated. There was lots of hidden buyers in here, and I was aware of it, but I just didn't take profit, and then it just bounced on me. And then I was fighting it the whole time, and then I got out, and then it eventually fucking Came down, of course, in power hour. I was watching it, getting fucking mad. Came down here. I thought we were going to get to 715. It didn't. Found some support right here, but that was the plan. So I had my approach on the trade was there was nothing wrong with it. That's why I'm not mad about it. It wasn't a forced trade. I knew what I was doing. I had my area. Okay, $8 is the area, but to crack that $8 area took a lot of volume, and that I got out right at 8. It took 209,000 shares, by far the biggest candle of the day, just to pop those stops. And what did it do? It popped it. It's a fake out. Consolidates, comes right back down. See that, guys? Remember how I always say it's not a breakout until it comes down and retests. It breaks out. Look at this. It's extended off the 9, comes fucking back to test it, and just crashes right through. So it's just a fake out, just to shake the shorts off. And then it comes back down and ends up cracking finally that 750s. But it took a lot. It took a lot of selling. You know, they had some volume needed to come in here. So what alerted the stock to you? My momentum scanner, Gary, on trade ideas. So I have a momentum scanner. Is it here? That's my gappers. Where's my momentum scanner? Hang on. Let me just bring it up. Let's see if it's on here. I don't know why I don't see it on here. For some reason it always disappears on me. But I have a momentum scanner on here on my gap scanner. I have my gap scanner, my momentum scanner, and it goes gap scanner, momentum scanner in the middle, and my halted stocks on the end there. No problem. And that was the trade yesterday. Yesterday was a nice day. It was a $3,700 winner. So I've hit my daily goal. I took a little hit on my weekly goal yesterday, but I'll get that back. I'm just going to trade small size, get my weekly goal back, and just be done with the week. Maybe I'll get it back tomorrow. That's the goal. But that's about it. Anything you guys else you want to go through? I don't know if you were watching me before the thing started, but I was just going through some charts here on the biggest gainers and biggest losers and how often these fucking gap close reversals. Okay, AVO, I believe it had 2 gap close reversals. I think one yesterday for sure, and the other one today. Look what it did today. Closed right here, gap down. This is what I talked to you guys about, the gap down, gap fill reversal. Okay. It closed here, it gapped down in the morning, it spiked, filled the gap. Well, I got 3 cents away from filling the gap. Filled it, we'll say it filled, and then reversed to fill the gap below. You guys see that? That's a classic fucking trade right there. So nice. So let's look at the intraday action and see what it did. So zoom out here, zoom out. Okay, so what do we do here? All right, this is at 11 o'clock. Okay, we finally started running. Almost hit it right there. We failed. Boom, got short. And what did it do? Right at close, it dumped and filled the gap below. I like these setups. Obviously you're looking for them to happen intraday. But that's as clean as that setup gets right there. Gap down, spike to fill the gap below, and look for the reversal. Or spike to fill the gap above, look for the reversal to start filling the gap below. Or even if it's not a gap below, you're just looking for it to push down and close at the lows. There was a bunch of stuff here as I was just going through charts. I think it was IOVA. Let's have a look at it. IOVA. Let's see here. I wrote some. Here we go. Gap close right here, guys. Why is my chart? Give me 1 second here, guys. I'm gonna shrink this chart up a little bit here. There we go. Motherfuckers. There we go. That's better. Better. There we go. Now we can all see. Okay, here we go, guys. Pushed up. Where did it fucking top out, guys? It topped up at the gap fill. 11.95 and just pulled back. I'm going to be watching this thing tomorrow. Maybe some of you guys can watch it tomorrow, because what did it do last time it topped out here, guys? Yesterday, it had a big, huge red day. Went from the 11, oh, look at this, 1183s, where did we top out today? Or where did we close? 1176. Oh, weird. Is history repeating itself? Could tomorrow crash down to the 1050s? It definitely could. Has a red day, gaps down. I'm gonna look for this thing to gap down and possibly short it for the move back down to 1055. You guys see the resemblance right there? What happens when it topped out right here? Gap down. Got down to 1129. That could also be a price target right here. What happened when it got stuffed here at 1195? It gapped down, got to a low of 1089, closed at 1130. You see all the trends right here at this price level, at this 1190s. Boom, 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 boom. So I'm going to be watching this guy tomorrow. Hopefully the volume doesn't just like dry up on it, but I'll be watching that for a potential play tomorrow. What else here? There's a bunch of that I drew some lines here. Oh my God, did you guys watch? What the fuck was it, man? Got halted a bunch of times. Yes, I believe this guy. Ha! Did you guys watch PHUN today? My God. Look at this dump. I don't know. I was trying to find news on it, but like, Jesus Christ. By the time it got halted, it was already like down here. This thing just tanked, man, this afternoon. I don't know what happened. It was crazy. Let's see. Let's just go through some tickers real quick on these biggest gainers and biggest losers. I did write out or draw out some lines. I'll know right away which ones I hit up. Nope. Let's just flip to dailies here. Nope, that's a new stock. IOVA we already went over. VERI. And type anything you guys want to go over, just type it in the box there, and I'll go over it. Okay, what do we got here? VERI. I don't know why. Oh, yes. I think I was looking right here. Yes. You guys see anything familiar here in this daily candle on today's price action? Look at this guy right here. Look at where it got to a high of. Let me push that up. Got to a high of right here. Got to a high of right here. Got to a low of right here. Got to a low of right here. Exact same price channel. Exact same. I'm going to look for a gap down tomorrow for a possible push, possibly down to fill the gap, obviously below here at 550s. Hopefully it doesn't have a huge gap down, but I'll be watching that for a possible play. 675, 550s. Hopefully we can get a quick pop, fill the gap above, and then go down to the short side. You guys all see that? See how accurate this was? History always repeats itself. Write these down, guys, and then go back tomorrow at the end of the day and see what the stock did and see how accurate it was. Sorry you don't see it, John. Okay, so this was today's price action right here. You see that? Went from 586 to $7. Okay. As soon as I looked at this daily, I went right here. This day, we got to a high of where, oh, sorry, it got to a high of $7. So this, and then today, on this day back here, it got to a high of $7. Where did it close? 587. The exact same price channel. Exact same. What did it do the next day? It gapped down, had a quick little spike, and then closed at the lows. So tomorrow I'm looking for a gap down, a quick little spike in the morning, and I'm going to look to go short to fill this gap below. You see it? See it, John? Does that make sense? Yeah, buddy. Fucking right, bud. What other stuff did I look at? We looked at IOVA. What other stuff did I look at today? Just now while I was waiting here. Was it SRNE? I don't think it was. I'll know if I got lines drawn. SRNE, no. Was there a trend here though? Spike, nope. Didn't see anything here. I looked at some stuff here. Was it QTT? Some of these I looked at. If you guys got questions, just type them. 701. Why do I got 701? Oh, gaps to fill below here at 701. Anything else that I looked at? E-Corp, EJS, didn't trade shit. Riot. I was watching Riot for a play today. I didn't have a game plan on it, so I didn't take it. Ended up having a green day. Let's just see something. Let's just go back in the daily and have a look here, guys. See what's up. Where do we top out at? Nothing that really catches my eye that we could have maybe predicted this top out. I don't know why I can't keep going back in time. Oh, there we go. Okay. Not really. Nothing I would have been able to really see. I mean, you have this guy kind of here, a little bounce off here, right here. Nothing, it would have been pretty hard to pick up. Let's see what else I was looking at before you guys jumped on here. MRS. There's a few tickers. Anything else you guys want to look at? Are we good? Are we good? DF. Trying to think if there's anything else. I'm waiting. I'm watching the chat, guys. You guys want to rap about anything else? ZYNE, Riot. Oh, AYI. Yeah, there we go. I was talking about this right. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so AYI. What do we got here, guys? Booyah! Gap fill right here. You guys all see that? Fill the gap. Closing price. This guy right here, we haven't gotten up there since. Hasn't closed the gap. It closed the gap today. What did it do on last time it got up in this area? It had a gap down. It pumped. It got up in the, okay. Jesus Christ, I can't even talk. I've been talking all day. Gap down. Quick little spike. Didn't close the gap above. Where is it? Oh, right here. Gap down. Almost closed the gap above, but what did it do? It had a huge red day, got to a low of 128.90s. This is a higher price stock, but the rules still apply, guys. Gap close reversal. Gaps down, what does it do? It has a reversal down 128.90s. Nice little, what do we got, 6-point run down. If you guys trade large caps, it's something you could be watching for history to repeat itself tomorrow. So easy peasy. I'm going to be alerted my large cap friends there with this ticker tomorrow. We got a gap to fill below at 124. You never know what can happen. Did this thing, when it came down, did it fill a gap last time? No, because that one filled. So, yeah, go through your charts, guys. Charts. The more you go through your charts, the more you notice the trends. The more you see the stuff that we're all trying to get. Just trying to think if there's anything else we can run through here. I think that's about it, guys. Any questions? I'm watching the chat. Everyone's unmuted. You guys are all good? Okay, awesome, guys. We will cut her here, and we will see you all in the pre-market. You guys have a good day, and tomorrow will be, April 4th? Rock and roll. Let's have a good day tomorrow, guys. We'll see you in the pre-market. Peace.